quality isn't inspected into a product, it's built into it. Welcome to ResiPod, where we decode the science behind performance. In today's episode, How Quality is Built, QA and QC Explained, we're diving into a fundamental aspect of every industry: quality. While QA and QC are often used interchangeably, they play very different yet complementary roles in ensuring consistency, reliability, and excellence. From setting robust processes to validating final outputs, we'll explore how quality is not just controlled, but carefully engineered at every step. Let's get started.
Yeah, good morning all. Myself Satish. I am working as an analytical manager in quality control department.
Good morning, both of you. I'm Dwarakanth Reddy, taking care of quality assurance at Resil.
Good morning all. Myself Abhishek. I have been working with Resil from last 17 years, and I'm taking care of quality assurance activities as well as quality control activities.
Today, we'll discuss about the overall quality assurance functions at Resil, which includes pharma as well as the non-pharmaceutical sector.
Before we start, first let us understand the difference between what is quality control and the quality assurance department. The quality control department mainly focuses on testing of finished goods, raw material, and the verification of in-process samples. So as far as quality assurance is concerned, it mainly focuses on the process and the compliance activities related to the product. So if you see, the quality control is product oriented, and whereas quality assurance is process oriented. So quality control is mainly to identify the defects in the product, whereas quality assurance focuses on identifying the defects in the processes.
Yeah, adding to his Abhishek's point, yes, what he rightly said is quality assurance is mainly focused on the process. But the thing is, it ensures that there should be defect-free product quality in that case. When there is no defect, and to that again, to re-verify the process, the quality control is in place to identify the defects.
Yeah, QA lab is responsible for ensuring the methods are reliable, accurate, and compliant.
Level of documents in quality control and quality assurance department, mainly the documents are divided into high level documents. So like if you see, it starts from the quality manual, that is also called as quality policy. Then we have the procedures, and at the level 2, and at the level 3 we are having work instructions, and at level 4 we are having records.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And for the quality manual or quality policy, this is actually a high-level document which will be designed by the management, which clearly explains about the product quality, how you achieve the product quality. For that, then again, to achieve the product quality, and you need for the QMS processes that comes in and procedures. To maintain the product quality, what are the processes will be involved in this to maintain the product quality? That is again the processes, QMS processes. And again, the work instructions. Work instructions is nothing but the procedures for any it may be a manufacturing, it may be a processing, or it may be a packing, or it may be a line clearance. For every activity, there will be a defined set of instructions that is called work instructions. And finally, it is the records or complaints, which there is a data to ensure that this is evident, the activity or the task has been evident to record that the records are available. Purpose for this, again, for the quality manual or quality policy, it sets a background for the processes and actions, SOPs, QMS activities, and the consistency of each and every process. And the role who shall be created is from the top management or senior leadership team are responsible to create the quality manual or quality policy.
So coming to quality control department, there are the key areas that we focus as far as quality control department is concerned is sampling and testing of finished goods and raw materials. So we have a well-defined SOPs for testing the finished goods and raw materials as per the approved specifications. So generally the sampling is done, the sampling plan that is being adopted for sampling of these finished goods or raw materials is square root n+1, which is mostly the accepted standard across all the industries. once the sample is being sampled as per the square root sampling plan, the composite sample is being collected and it is being tested as per the approved specification using the methods which are validated. Okay, so all the methods which are being used for testing of finished goods or raw materials are validated before it is used for the testing process. So once a sample is being tested and the raw data is being updated in the various softwares. So we use softwares like QA module, and then we use softwares for SAP for the traceability purpose. So once the product is within the specification or the raw material is within the specification, the quality control releases the product into the market.
Recently we have upgraded our QA lab at Unit 3 with the sophisticated instruments, you can say. And what are all those instruments? Is there any future plan for the upgradation? And what is the current capability of the testings? If you see like parameters wise.
Yeah, let us talk about the instrumentation part in the Resil QA department. In the QA lab, we start with the basic instrument. Right now, we have a basic instrument like pH meter, analytical balance, coefficient titrator, and viscometer, refractometer, and conductivity meter. Apart from that, we have supporting equipments like sonicator, argon shaker, water bar shaker, and hot air ovens, and also muffle furnace, and melting point and boiling point apparatus, and a flash point analyzer. These are the basic instrument. This will support us to do the routine physical and chemical testings. Beyond the basic instrument, we have advanced analytical instruments like high performance liquid chromatography is called as HPLC, and gel permeation chromatography is called as GPC, and we have gas chromatography, GC, and also GCMS, gas chromatography mass spectroscopy, and we have UV spectrophotometer, and particle size analyzer is called as Zeta sizer, and which is having a detectors like flame ionization detector and thermal conductive detector and mass detectors. And together the instrumentation, it allows us to check the qualitative and quantitative testings in the QA lab.
Okay. And during method development phases, what are all the challenges you may face for any instrument, like high-end instruments, you can say?
If you see the key steps in the method development is defining the objective or scope, and also study the physical and chemical properties of the sample, and a selection of analytical technique and tool, and method optimization, and sample preparation procedures, and partial validation. These are the key steps in the method development. And if you see the common challenges we are facing is coelution of peaks and poor resolution, system suitability values, and sample matrix interference in the interference, and as well as poor method robustness, sensitivity issues. These are the key challenges we'll be facing at the time of method development.
Okay. But as you see, if you are really aware of the chemistry of the product, then only you can be able to develop the method. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to develop any method.
Yeah. First, initially, to understand the sample nature is very important. If you see the sample matrix is crucial for the development. Sample, what kind of sample we are taking up? It is like, is it soluble with solvent we have to use to dissolve the samples? And what kind of functional groups are present in the sample? These are the key steps for the method development.
Okay.
And also coming to that, physical and chemical properties, these are the like how the sample is behaving after dissolving the sample. These are the one of the step to check the method development. And also what kind of analytical techniques to be used for the development. Is it like sample is the UV active compound or UV inactive compound, and how the what technique we have to select, that is important. If it's UV inactive compound, we have to go with other techniques like other type of detectors like our refractive index detectors and ELSD, light scattering detectors,
Okay.
and CAD, charge aerosol detector. These are the techniques we have to use for the UV inactive compounds. And coming to the UV active compound, we can use the UV detector as well as photodiode detector, PDA detector. This will help us to check the quality of the to check the quality of the compounds.
So in terms of product compliance, like what kind of impurities you can, identify, using these techniques?
Yeah. These techniques we can use for identification as well as quantification methods. And for this, we should have a standards.
Yeah.
Before that, we have to procure the standards. These standards should be traceable with high pure standards and it having high potency. And also, it will help us to quantify
Yeah.
in the lower level.
Yes.
Suppose if sample is having a ppm level or ppb level, this the quantification required.
Yeah.
There it is.
And also it helps us to identify the substances like, cyclic contents where, it is restricted.
Yes.
Restricted in the industries.
Yes.
So mainly it will be we can identify the impurity profile in the product, which will help customer to understand the impurity profile of the product, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it comes to working standards, what are all the necessary tests to be performed to qualify any reference standard or to prepare a working standard with the reference standard?
But if you see the certified reference standard, these are the key for the method development. If you see the quantification, if any quantification, we have to use high pure standard, like potency should be higher. For this case, we have to use certified reference standards. This certified reference standard should be traceable with ISO 17034 and as well as ISO 17025.
Yeah.
And also we'll be using as a USP standards some cases.
Okay.
And if you coming to the working standard qualification, we'll be taking as a reference standard and we'll be qualifying as a working standard. In this case, we have to do the identification tests like FTIR or mass or as well as NMR spectrum. And we'll be using purity or potency test by using HPLC, GC.
Okay.
And also we'll be checking the LOD and ROE, water content, as well as Resil solvent or VOC.
Okay. And what are all the method validation parameters? It may differ from parameter to parameter. Like if you see for assay, you will have some certain set of parameters. And for identification, we have certain set of parameters. This kind of whole common as a general, you can see what are the parameters, validation method parameters.
Yeah, coming to the method validation is key step in the analytical testings. If you see that accuracy, precision, repeatability, reproducibility, and linearity, limit of detection and limit of quantification. These are the key testing criteria, like key testings for the method validation.
And for this instruments like HPLC or GCMS, for this you have an integration set parameters, whether that can be like audit trail is available for these softwares, or it can be integrated manually for assays also. How you are maintaining these documents in a system?
Yeah, in QA lab, most of the instruments are like compliance, 21 CFR compliance. These are all instruments having audit trails mechanism, and we have aligned the documentation process, like documents like standard operating procedure, standard testing procedure, and change control documents, and corrective actions, preventive action documents, and followed by non-conforming material reports, and as well as audit trail records. And also we have version control documents and also electronic signatures. We follow the electronic signatures and document lifecycle management system.
Okay. Once the analyst has been completed his analysis, and you will be reviewed the same through electronic signatures in the chromatograms.
Yeah, after testing, documents as reviewed by reviewer, and we have e-signature mechanism before releasing the reports.
So we have a dedicated pharma manufacturing facility. So a lot of parameters are being controlled. Which I would like to ask Dwarakanth, what are the controls are being monitored in the pharma manufacturing areas?
Yeah, it depends on manufacturing industry. If it comes to our Resil, we have an API manufacturing facility which meets the requirements of Schedule M, and it has an ISO class 8 areas which we have. That is the most critical area which we are. And for the manufacturing areas, if it sees we have ISO class 8 areas for all areas where the product is being exposed. Other than this, we have an RLAFs for the sampling and dispensing, and one more is for the dynamic pass boxes. You can see where there is a movement from the stores to the sampling area, or from again the stores to the dispensing area, and from the dispensing area to again this manufacturing area. These are all the controlled areas. Other than this, each and every area like stores, production, it has been controlled by a primary change rooms and secondary change rooms where we'll control the cross contamination. And again, from there to the manufacturing area, there is an airlocks rooms were there to still mitigate the cross contaminations. And we have for the manufacturing area, we have given a terminal HEPAs where it will be stringently controlled. And for the other areas, it can be depends on the area to area. It depends on case to case. And for some of the areas, it will be a plenum HEPA. And the manufacturing areas, we have a terminal HEPA. And if you see how to control a cross contamination is like we have HEPA filters. And for that, we are continuously monitoring the regularly like validation parameters like non-viable particle count, which we have, it is a routine validation parameter, and environmental monitoring, and every monthly once we'll perform this environmental monitoring, where we'll come to know whether it is whether it may be a non-viable particle count or a viable particle count. We'll come to know when there is an excursion from the environmental monitoring. We will come to know at that point of time we need to alert, and we need to sanitize the area, and we need to do critical measures like fogging, etc., to bring down the limit of microbial count within the limits.
What are the product categories in the pharma?
We are basically manufacturing two products. One is Simethicone USP, and another one is Simethicone emulsion 30%. Both are liquids.
Coming to digitalization, so what are the automations that we adopted in the pharma manufacturing facility?
Yeah, for the digitalizations, if you see, we have a stability chambers, dedicated stability chambers for our products, final products, and where this stability, temperature, and RH is being directly monitored through a software called ICDAS, where each and every 10 minutes the data is being recorded in the loggers, through the loggers. And we have three chambers. One is dedicatedly for 4075, and one is for 3075, and another one is a standby. If once goes and maintenance or some issues, and we can be utilized for another chamber. And for the upgradation, we see we are going to upgrade with SAP S/4HANA, which is a cloud-based platform to maintain all these traceabilities of each and every material, we can say.
So as we all know, industries are moving towards, automations and digitalizations, and artificial intelligence, is playing a very crucial role in terms of adopting the best practices in the industries. So my question goes to, Dwarakanth, as far as AI is concerned, how AI is contributing in the pharma sector?
AI will be playing a crucial role in process optimizations by automations, and in quality by visual inspections, and in supply chain demand forecastings, and regulatory compliance and data integrity by automated documentations. And for the trend analysis and the data collection, it is very much helpful by artificial intelligence. Pharmaceutical sector, now the technical agreements are being very common or mandatory for this. How can we cope up with all these service providers or the clients?
So technical agreement is one of the key document as far as vendor qualifications are concerned. So technical agreement is a very important document in the quality system. So what does the technical agreement mean? It is generally agreement between the manufacturers and the customer, which clearly defining the quality responsibilities. Okay. The document also helps us to avoid confusion between the manufacturing, testing and release, and the compliance activities between the manufacturer and the supplier. It also ensures the manufacturers and the suppliers are aligned with the latest GMP regulations. So overall, if you see, technical agreement plays a very critical role to maintain the product quality as well as the product compliance.
Adding to your point, the technical agreement also serves the purpose for the service providers, maybe the testing laboratories, or maybe a one-time service providers like installation of HVACs or facility qualification and commissionings. And it will be like, for some of the cases we see there is a customer or a service provider, he will again give a contract to another service provider. In that situations, how we will manage these technical agreements?
So as I mentioned earlier, technical agreement is one of the key documents. So when it comes to service providers, okay, when it comes to service provider also we have to have a technical agreement with our service providers as well as. So what do you understand by service providers? Generally, the services that we are taking for, qualification of our instruments or the equipments, or mainly if it is HVAC qualifications or for the instrument qualification or even for the calibrations. So we have to have a technical agreement with those suppliers as well. So how do we ensure that the service providers align with our requirements? For that we need to give the technical agreement to the service providers and ensure the technical agreement is being signed by those service providers so that there is a smooth service from our service providers.
If it comes to complaints, what are the regular challenges or declarations or queries?
So coming to compliance, so if you see, the compliance can be mainly divided into majorly into following categories. Like there are universal declarations, then there are regulatory declarations, there are ethical declarations, and then there are product specific declarations. So coming to universal declaration, there are declarations such as TSC, BSC declarations, there are residual solvent declarations, okay. And when it comes to regulatory declaration, there are declarations such as REACH declaration, cyclic content declarations. So these are all related to regulatory declarations. So when it comes to ethical declarations, we have declarations such as halal declarations, non-vegan, okay, synthetic origin declarations. And when it comes to contaminants declarations, so mainly it covers declarations such as heavy metals, nitrosamine impurities. Yeah.
And if it comes to quality audits and the approvals, what are the approvals we have currently and the audits, self-inspections process?
So generally the quality audits are being conducted to evaluate the compliance with the good manufacturing practices. Now, if you see, the audit activities help in identifying the gaps or the issues, and also identify the opportunities for improvement in the process. So if you see, the audits are mainly divided into following categories. One is self-inspection audit, which is also called as internal audits. Then we have a regulatory audits. Then we have a customer audit, and then we have vendor audits. Dwarakanth, to conclude, what are the elements of the quality management systems?
Yeah, if it comes to quality management system, the change controls, deviations, incidents, CAPA, customer complaints, and risk assessment, these are all plays a major role to get a product quality. For us, product quality is important, and to achieve the product quality, a risk assessment must be in a place. If the risk assessment, whether it may be a product risk assessment or maybe a functional risk assessment, both are important. But minimum is product risk assessment. If you have a product risk assessment in place, you can control the product defects.
So as Dwarakanth rightly mentioned, the quality assurance is not about testing the product. It is all about ensuring the products are safe, quality, and reliable.
At Resil, we are capable of testing, releasing, and all the QMS and QA processes are in place so that our products which reach to the customer are effective and reliable.
So in Resil, quality assurance is not about testing the product. So it is all about ensuring that products are reliable, safe, and good quality.
At Resil, all are responsible for quality, and we are all committed to quality.
That brings us to the end of this episode of ResiPod. Quality isn't a checkpoint, it's a continuous commitment. And as we've discussed today, both quality assurance and quality control play a crucial role in delivering products that perform consistently. A big thank you to our speakers for sharing their expertise and to you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow ResiPod and stay connected for more insights into the science behind performance.